to BioVivacious, and I am Sebastian. BioVivacious is a YouTube channel dedicated to clear fundamental concepts of biosciences. When we learn the structure of proteins, you can have a question arising in your mind. Can we ever predict the structure, the secondary structure as well as the tertiary structure of a protein? Obviously, the answer is yes. If we believe that the primary structure of a protein is having information about how the proteins must be folded, we should be able to predict it. This was a question raised by two scientists in 1970. The names are Dr. Chow and Dr. Fassman. They asked this question, and then they realized, based on the available data, that is based on the data available on NMR studies, X-ray crystallographic studies, they can predict the structure of a protein up to about 80%. Let us understand how do we predict the structure of a protein. So there is an example written here. You can see that this is a very long protein, a fraction of a protein taken from the database. And let us see how do we predict the secondary structure of these sequences of amino acid. What are the things we need in order to predict the structure? First of all, we need to know what this single letter code represents. So we have to know the single letter code of all the amino acids. Based on the data available at that time, there is a table created here for our convenience. It is arranging amino acids in the grouping them based on their probability of having favoring a formation of alpha helical structure, favoring beta sheets, and as well as favoring the turns. This is based on NMR as well as the X-ray crystallographic studies. You will also find arginine forming a different group because the probability of arginine being in each of these is almost the same. So depending on where it is present, we will assign whether it is forming part of the loop or part of other structures, other secondary structures. So this is the first information that we need, in the single letter code of amino acid. Once we have that, we will follow the rule proposed by Chow and Fassman. So what we are going to do is, based on which we will be assigning we will be identifying whether it is an alpha helical structure or a beta pleated sheets or it is a turn. What we will do, we will underline if it is an alpha helical structure, and we will put a bar above in the case of a beta sheet. So underline alpha helical. If it is a beta sheet, we put a bar above, and if it is a turn, we will use a symbol like this. This is a convention we have just created for understanding the structure. Based on that, let us assign R, it's an arginine. Arginine should be, we are not very sure, so therefore let us put a dot for arginine. Second one is also an arginine. The next is a proline. Proline, we know that it forms a beta turn. So let us put a turn which is a plus sign. The next is valine, that is forming a beta sheet. So therefore we will put a bar on top. Next is also valine. The next is leucine. Leucine is favoring alpha helical structure. We put an underline. Next is methionine, underline. Alanine, underline. You see it is forming a structure. C is cysteine, underline. L is leucine, underline. R, again it is arginine, so we put a dot here. P is proline, that is sure it is a turn. We put a plus sign. Then V, valine, that is underline. Line above because it is a beta sheet. V, beta sheet. F is a phenylalanine. I is isoleucine. T is threonine, bar above, Y is tyrosine. We come to the next line, G, that is, you will see that G is a glycine, so therefore it is a turn. D is glutamine, D is aspartic acid, a plus sign. G is glycine, a plus sign, another plus sign. Next is a T, that is, you can see it is a threonine, above, Y, above, Y, another H, that is a histidine. Histidine, it is a alpha helical structure favoring W, it is here it is W tryptophan, above, Y is again beta helical structure, H is a histidine, that is here. So we have assigned these values to each of these. Now let us group them together. So one possibility here you can see, it is a clear indication this is an alpha helical structure. Okay, it is a clear indication. Now look at our understanding of the secondary structure formation. These two are, we have seen that they can take any shape. They have the probability of being in alpha helical, beta sheets as well as in turn. Since this is an alpha helical structure, we will assume that this is possibly forming in the loop structure. So in other words, all these, if you look at the table, there is a table available based on the probability of each of these amino acid in which category it will fall. We can safely say that all these are forming an alpha helical structure. Definitely this is going to be a loop structure. And then it is connecting here with a beta sheet. This is a beta sheet. Here this is a loop structure, and once again this whole thing will form another beta sheet. This is how we assign. Once we assign, now let us rub this we don't need it anymore for this particular session. Let us try to see, here there is a loop forming. So there is a loop forming, then there is an alpha helical structure. Now count the number of residues in the alpha helical structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 residues are there in the alpha helical structure. 8 residues, we know that one ring makes about 3.6 amino acids are required for one ring. So therefore, one helical structure. How many helical structures? 8 divided by 3.6, that is roughly equal to 2.2 helical structures. So it will form, after the loop, it should be forming 1 and 2 helical structures. Now these helical structures, now you can also imagine, you can also calculate what will be the length of this helical structure. This length, it can be very easily calculated, because one rise is about, if you know that it is 1.5 Armstrong multiplied by 3.6, that is 5.4 Armstrong will be the rise of one of these, the pitch of one of these. When you have 2, you multiply 2.2 into 5.4. That will be the entire length of the alpha helical structure. Now after this, you have a loop structure, a very short loop structure. Following the loop, you have a beta sheet. So you can arrange a beta sheet in this manner. This is the first beta sheet. Then you have a second beta sheet, and that is connected by another loop of 4 amino acid. So this is another loop and next beta sheet, and this is how it will continue. You will be also able to find out the length of the beta sheet, because you know that in one term there will be 2 amino acids. That forms about 3.8 Armstrong. So based on that, you will be able to count the number and you will be able to see what is going to be the length of the beta sheet as well. Now, once you are able to predict this kind of a structure based on this, so this is about 80% accurate. Today we don't do these kind of manual calculations. For our understanding, this is shown on the board. Today we will be able to predict it by using computer simulated softwares, and that is almost nearly accurate. But this is the logic which is followed in predicting the secondary structure of a protein. I'm sure that you have enjoyed going through this understanding how do we predict the secondary structure of a protein. Keep watching this channel and keep subscribing. Thank you.